Horror movies make monsters of us all, don't they? Well, not really, but in many ways it doesn't exactly matter which form the concept of horror takes, because as the old adage goes, fear is in the eye of the beholder. For some of you, the giant spider Shelob from Lord of the Rings will be the most horrifying thing you've ever seen. Or perhaps for the thalassophobes amongst us, Bruce the Shark from the Jaws franchise. However, there are some legendary monsters of horror fandom that transcend the realm of just fear and phobias, who've managed to carve out their own terrifying existence in a category all of their own, horrifying as all in equal measure. Well, let's take a look. Hello horror fans, what's going on, and once again welcome back to the Scariest channel on YouTube, top 5 scary videos. As per usual, I'll be your horror host Jack Finch, as today we curiously take a look at the top 5 scariest horror movie monsters. Roll the clip.
I think it's here now.
For the curious amongst you, that clip was from 1988's Pumpkinhead, written and directed by Stan Winston, and it leads us to a very important point. In no way, shape or form is this list ever going to please everyone. There are just far too many incredible horror monsters that make the grade, although we're going to limit ourselves with the term monsters by taking it literally in the non-human sense. So that means no Leatherface, no Mike Myers, you get the picture. Kicking off at number 5, the Crawlers, The Descent. And you might think, hey, what the hell? Not these guys. But bear with me, because the horrifying subterranean crawlers from Neil Marshall's 2005 claustrophobic horror The Descent were in fact much more iconic than you may have first thought, because rather than being a mashed up, recycled horror creation built up from parts laid out in the previous decades of cinema, the crawlers were terrifying because they were, most importantly, original. And Neil Marshall went to great lengths to making sure his claustrophobia-inducing creatures were perfectly at home in their environment. Because there's nothing more terrifying than being hunted by a hungry creature that can see in the dark whilst in a pitch black cave without a glow stick, right? As Marshall stated, the crawlers were partly inspired by Tolkien's Gollum, as well as the pale-skinned vampiric reapers from Blade 2, but they're also far more terrifying because of their evolutionary implication. The team behind The Descent had the intention of creating the crawlers as a primal species that had evolved underground over thousands of years, something almost human, alien in a sense, but also familiar, that also wants to rip your heart out with its bare teeth. Yeah, no thanks. Coming in at number 4, the Cenobites, Hellraiser. And I say the Cenobites because I do mean all of them, and after all, this is a pluralistic list, right? Semantics. And also, we just can't begin to talk about horror movie monsters without talking about their underappreciated weirdo darlings. Although the Hellraiser franchise makes a clear point that the Order of the Gash are demons to some, angels to others, there's no denying the fact that Pinhead and his brood were absolutely horrifying when they first made their entrance in Clive Barker's Hellraiser. I mean, for the most part, you only need to take a look at them, because, come on man, they're terrifying. As Clive Barker's franchise explores, the Cenobites are a group of extra-dimensional beings that hail from a dimension of hell, who can only reach Earth's reality through a schism in time and space, activated by a series of unearthly artifacts, one of which is the infamous Lament configuration. However, there is one particular extra-dimensional hell monster that appears in Hellraiser that takes the cake. The Engineer, which may or may not be a Cenobite because no one exactly knows what it is, although it's a horrifying homunculus of hell, and that's enough of a reason for me to be horrified by it. Yeah, no thanks. Swinging in at number 3, Freddy Krueger, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Please, God.
This is God.
And while I astutely made the point that Leatherface and The Shape wouldn't be appearing on this list because of their humanity or lack thereof, Robert Englund's foul-mouthed, finger-slashing, dream-stalking demon definitely stakes his claim here, because he's the reborn hellspawn of dream demons, and stylish hat aside, he's definitely not human. 1-2, Freddy's coming for you, and for many of us, Mr. Krueger was perhaps our earliest and most horrifying brush with horror. There was something about A Nightmare on Elm Street that just seemed to strike a chord with young people, and whether it was the haunting melody that followed him or the fact that he had a penchant of inducing teenage insomnia, there's no denying the fact that he made his 4-pointed mark on horror as an icon of monstrosity. And well, it gets worse, because while Freddy is literally the stuff of nightmares in the physical world, when he gets you in his dream realm, well, That's the end of that, isn't it? How do you even begin to combat a creature that can take on any nightmarish form, can slip through walls, turn himself into a wall, can reap your soul and stick it in his stomach, and is literally unkillable in his domain? In fact, the only way you can defeat him is if you show no fear, and he has no power over those who aren't afraid of him. But yeah, that's a pretty tough bout, I reckon. No thanks, Freddy. Next up at number 2, the Xenomorph Alien. If you're asking me, Ridley Scott's 1979 masterpiece Alien is perhaps one of the greatest horror films ever made, and the reason that it's so incredibly terrifying is because we rarely ever see the thing that makes it so fear-inducing: the Xenomorph, the intangible alien species that stalks the crew of the Nostromo for no other reason other than its own survival. There are many different levels of fear that the Xenomorph manages to capture. For one, it's the perfect apex predator, evolutionarily designed to stalk, kill, and eat any other creature stupid enough to cross its path. And then there's the whole reproduction thing and the psychological fear of male pregnancy. Yeah, John Hurt managed to capture that pretty damn well, didn't he? The Xenomorph is terrifying because of its gestation period, which is quite a feat in itself, isn't it? I'm scared of this creature because of how it reproduces. Xenomorphs start in a bizarre bulbous alien egg secreted by a Xenomorph queen that then opens up and releases a face hugger. Yeah, those damn things that then launch themselves into your face and impregnate you with an endoparasitic larva. That then eats you from the inside out, burst out of your chest in a horrifying moment of gore and indigestion, and voila, Xenomorph. Yeah, literally the stuff of nightmares. And finally, coming in at our number 1 spot, Pennywise the Clown. It.
Take your pick. Billy Boy.
And this time, it's personal, because while the Xenomorph very rightly takes the number 2 spot, the number 1 spot is left for the most horrific horror movie monster of them all, Pennywise the Clown. Because damn that demonic, balloon-touting psychopath back to the Todash darkness that it was spawned from. Although Bill Skarsgård's cinematic depiction of Pennywise is a horrifying attempt in its own right, I'm exclusively saving this one for Tim Curry's version, because seriously, the 90s TV movie version of it truly is the stuff of childhood nightmare. I'm not going to beat about the bush. Pennywise instilled in me, as well as many others, a lifelong distrust for red-nosed, wide-trousered children entertainers. Pennywise, also known as It, is an ancient eldritch monster that was spawned in a cosmic void dimension outside the regions of known space, known as the Macroverse, a function which has spat forth some of Stephen King's most horrifying entities. But let's skirt around the fictional origins of this monster, because you only need to watch the 1990s TV movie version of It to realise what the true face of fear looks like. It can take any form, but of course, for us, it had to take the form of a horrifying demonic clown, feasting on the poor children of Derry, Maine, pulling them down into its sewer where they can all float together for eternity. Yeah, I'm done. That's enough Pennywise for now. Well, there we have it, horror fans, our top 5 scariest horror movie monsters. I know that there's many more where that came from, so why don't you let us know your best picks in the comment section down below. Before we depart from today's video, let's take a quick look at some of your more entertaining edifications from over the past few days. First up, Kai Awada says, "Why do you always seem to be pulling some mysterious switch with your hand gestures?" Wow, Kai Awada, I'm afraid that you already know too much. Well, on that unfortunate note, unfortunately, horror fans, that's all we've got time for in today's video. Just stick around all the way until the end. If you're a fan of this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as that subscribe bell, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your horror host, Jack Finch. You've been watching Top 5 Scary Videos, and until next time, you take it easy.